Welcome back to Faenza, the Grand Prix of Europe, round 15 of 16 in the 2012 FIM MX2 Motocross World Championship. My name is Paul Maiden. You join us here on what is still a very, very hot afternoon in Italy. With 1,650-meter long circuit. Had some changes over the last couple of years. It's the first time we've ran it in its new format in a Grand Prix, but in terms of where we are geographically, we're about 40 minutes drive from Bologna, just past Imola, heading south down towards the Adriatic coast, and the Italian sunshine here, a welcome for all the fans out there on the hillside of this Monte Carlo circuit. Jeffrey Herlings, the winner in the qualifying race yesterday, will line his Red Bull KTM up first alongside his teammate Jeremy Van Hoorbeek and the rest. But in Moto number 1, it was Herlings who was victorious over Tommy Searle, more than 30 seconds in the end. Van Hoorbeek was third with Osborne's Monster Energy Yamaha fourth. Tixier was fifth. Arnold Tonis was sixth. Seventh was Jake Nichols. Eighth was Lerc Larrier. Ninth, Roman Febvre. And 10th was Valentin Tellier. Julian Lieber was 11th, Max Anstey was 12th in Moto number 1. Then it was Valentin Guillot, Glenn Coldenhoff, Elliot Banks-Brown eventually dropped down to 15th, with Ivo Monticelli, Andrea Cervelin, Alessandro Lupino, Jose Boutron and Samuel Zaney. Our Monster Energy girls getting ready to hoist up the 15-second and 5-second boards, respectively, as the music pumps out around the circuit here. You can hear that bass kicking in. But this is the biggest race of Jeffrey Herlings' life. There he is, gate number 1 on the left-hand side alongside his teammate Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. Zach Osborne lines up alongside them, the 338 Monster Energy Yamaha. And of course, Van Hoorbeek will do what he can to maybe just get the edge and come across Osborne and Tommy Searle there, the number 100 green Kawasaki in gate number 4. Because there's still a mathematic chance. Right, 5-second board turns, the gate about to drop here. Moto number 2. And who is it that gets out first? And look at that, both the KTMs come across. Tommy Searle buried in around about 10th place as he comes around the first turn, but he's alongside Tellier and Tonis, but Herlings first out of the gate. They've rotivated the track, they've pulled it all back through here and through many parts of the circuit just to try and open it up a bit, as you can see, all through this next section. The riders have had their sighting lap, but wow, who's that in second position? Someone's got an absolute flyer out there. Tommy Searle just getting it a little bit wrong there as he goes through. Herlings, oh, Banks-Brown it is. A great start on the HM Plank KTM. Then we've got Van Hoorbeek in third position. Bodo Schmidt KTM 461. Roman Febvre gets a good start there. As we look at Banks-Brown, Van Hoorbeek, but it's the 84 here, the championship leader and champion-elect, Jeffrey Herlings, Banks-Brown, Van Hoorbeek, Tixier, Febvre, it looks like. Then Tonkov getting a good start, didn't score in the first moto. Tommy Searle just behind him there, the number 100. Then Max Anstey is that, no, that's Tonkov. Searle trying to go around Roman Febvre, the 461, Bodo Schmidt Motorsport KTM rider just here. Tommy Searle on the left on that green Kawasaki. A little bit of work gone on down here, I would expect. Whoa, Tommy Searle, no work done through there. But Tommy Searle makes the pass, he makes it stick, he goes after Jordi Tixier, the 911. But it could be all to no avail because 65 points the gap was after Moto number 1. But before Moto number 1, it's now 68 points between Herlings and Tommy Searle. Needs to be just 50 points, the difference between them after this second moto for it to be Jeffrey Herlings' crown. Elliot Banks-Brown goes down. So Elliot Banks-Brown coming back onto the start straight. He goes down. Tommy Searle runs Tixier wide just to make sure there's no comeback from him. So Tommy Searle then looking like he wants to get on here and try and track down. There's Valentin Tellier. He's in 12th place, the Rockstar Bud Racing Kawasaki. So we've got Herlings. It was Banks-Brown in second, but he went down. Van Hoorbeek now in second. Tixier is now not third. It's Tommy Searle in third place. As we look again at the start from another angle, from the top. KTM's just doing enough to get out front and then come across. But look at that hole shot there from Jeffrey Herlings. And easily into turn 1, Banks-Brown 44. in second position. But Jeffrey Herlings, though, he's on his way here at the moment, even in these early stages, looking confident, looking cool, despite the high temperatures here, almost 30 degrees out there on track. There's his teammate, Van Hoorbeek, in second position. Oh, yellow flags. That's, I think, from the previous lap, because they're already out in the track. That part of the circuit, that's where Ferrandis got hurt yesterday, broke his femur. So the jump just afterwards, that's obviously the scene of another crime, but Herlings goes through. Here's Van Hoorbeek in second. Third is Tommy Searle closing in the background on that green Fluoride Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki. Needs to go by Van Hoorbeek to give himself at least second overall in the Grand Prix, but that'll be a little consolation for the Brit in his final year in MX2. His aim, and his aim alone, was the World Championship, and that is slipping away. That every lap that Herlings stays out in front, and there he is disappearing up through turn 4 in the distance there. As he comes out, you'll see Tommy Searle just there, and he might just do enough, you know, just to stay there and not have to push too far. Here's Tixier. He's in 4th place. Then we've got the Monster Energy Yamaha of Zach Osborne, the 338, just behind him. In 5th, Roman Febvre's Bodo Schmidt Motorsport KTM is 6th. Alex Tonkov on the Garibaldi Honda Ester machine is 7th, ahead of the Nissan GM Racing KTM of Jake Nichols. The teammate to Tommy Searle, Larieux, is 9th. Arnold Tonus is 10th. Valentin Tellier, Rockstar Bud Racing Kawasaki, is 11th. The SKS Polnet TM factory machine of Andrea Chervelin is in 12th place. Then we've got Elliot Banks Brown in 13th on the HM Plant KTM. 14th is the Rockstar Energy Suzuki Europe of Julian Lieber. Silver Action KTM of Tim Geiser is 15th. Nick Larson on the Standing Construct Suzuki is 16th. Then we've got Glenn Coldenhoff, Jose Boutron on the Silver Action KTM. Antonio Mancuso in 19th, and Lupino, Richie Racing Husqvarna, down in 20th place. This battle here, though, Osborne and Tixier, just like it was in Moto number 1. Anstey buried way, way down the order. Big leap there for Osborne. He comes through alongside Tixier. This is what he did in the first Moto. But Tixier trying to run him a little bit wider this time. Might square him off because it's all new down there now. Up the inside, not quite. So Tixier comes over the line now, and he stays in 4th place. Fastest man on track, though, 150.9 compared to the 52.3 and the 51.1 of Van Hoorbeek and Searle. Jeffrey Herlings is the fastest man on track and has 4.5 seconds over Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. Here's that battle for 4th place. The orange KTM of Jordi Tixier, 911. Going for 4th place in the championship. Not just in this second Moto, but also in 2 weeks in Germany. Oh, and Osborne tries to run it down deep into the rear end of 911 Tixier. And then just got caught. Was off the bike. And Roman Febvre looking ready to pounce now. The 461 on the Bodo Schmidt Motorsport KTM. And it's going to jump it long, but it's pretty gnarly down there. As you see, the back end just pitching. Roman Febvre just down towards the bottom. Tonkov there in the background in that yellow helmet, and he's in 7th place on the Garibaldi Honda Ester. Entry. Nichols is still 8th, ahead of Larieux 9th, Tellier 10th, Tonus 10th, 11th is Tellier, Banks Brown is 12th. Lupino now up into 19th position. So Osborne then got it all to do again, because Tixier already over the first jump here. Cost him a couple of seconds, that did. Zach Osborne running down the inside of the KTM of the 911 Jordi Tixier, but Osborne, we know, is a charger, just like Tommy Searle, has now found his way back onto the rear wheel of 89. Jeremy Van Hoorbeek running wide. You see the ruts there during the middle part of that start straight. Just indicates how soft that start line area still is. But another fastest lap of the race, though, for Herlings, 150.5. Now 5.9 seconds clear of these two, who are fighting over second position. Van Hoorbeek, we know he's good buddies with Herlings, and he might just try and slow the pace down a little bit, just to prevent Tommy Searle trying to get on the rear wheel of the 84, our race leader and world champion-elect, Jeffrey Herlings. Question is, though, if Tommy Searle does find a way to go through on Van Hoorbeek, where will it be? Track a little bit different in some places to what it was in Moto number 1. Nice line there from Tommy Searle. Goes a bit wider, squares off, stays out of the ruts. Worth the try, but just a little bit out of range to do anything about it. This was very rutty through here. You've seen they've cleaned that up a little bit. Then off the step down, through the dip, and then all the way down through here. Getting good drive, Tommy Searle on the Kawasaki, that second rider on the green machine. Championship leader disappearing in the opposite direction. It's the battle for second. Tommy Searle goes a little bit deeper, swings out earlier. Looks to maybe set up Jeremy Van Hoorbeek just through here, the final corner. And he'll know he's there. Tommy Searle runs it up the inside. He now moves into second position. So 89, Van Hoorbeek then, just losing the front end, going into that final turn, back onto the start straight. Look to try and square it back up the inside of the Kawasaki, and I think Van Hoorbeek knows there's no point in trying to respond or retaliate, apart from second overall in the Grand Prix. But Tommy Searle worked it from the corner before pit lane, so that was 2, and then 3 corners later makes the move into second position, on board with Tellier, still there in 11th place. Oh, I'm going to say it's a black mudguard, not an orange one. Under the trees they go, difficult to see exactly where the lines go when they disappear down through there. Of course, the other problem the riders have coming up the hillside here, the sun directly in their eyes as they go up to that KTM turn and then over the next turn there, just below the Monster Bridge. In the background, and Osborne has found a way through since he came over the line just 5 or 6 corners ago. So he's now found a way back past the 911 of Jordi Tixier. And this is good for Osborne, but 4th in Moto number 1, currently 4th again in the second race. Not going to be good enough for a podium, but still showing the consistency of Zach Osborne since his return back from injury at the beginning of the season. Zach Osborne just 16th in the championship, but didn't rejoin or join the championship until round 9. Been on the podium twice since then. In the Czech Republic and at Matterley Basin, the British Grand Prix. And there's Loic Lariat and Valentin Tellier going at it. Tellier gets go. Well, I thought he was going to go down the inside. Jake Nichols just ahead of them, the 45 and the 7 of Tonus. So this battle here for 8th, and it involves Jake Nichols, Tonus, the 202 there on the green Kawasaki of Lariat, and the 37 in the flash of orange there, or the red, Valentin Tellier. A couple seconds further back, Elliot Banks-Brown on the HM Plant KTM. Number 44, well, less than that now. Looks to have had a good lap, Elliot Banks-Brown. But 23 to go. Herlings 10 seconds clear of Searle and Van Hoorbeek. Dropping downhill into turn 5. Valentin Tellier. The front wheel of that Kawasaki pouring its way over, and was that a mistake there from Tonus? I think it was, because Tonus has lost out to the 202 of Loic Lariat. So Lariat then goes through on Tonus, who's now coming under pressure from 37, Valentin Tellier. This then is the battle for 10th place. That's what it's like on board with Tellier. Heading up through the rutted section just here, right on the top end of the circuit before they drop back down. The series of drop-offs here in Faenza. Valentin Tellier, Rockstar Bud Racing Kawasaki, the number 37 there, finds himself in 11th, going after the number 7 in 10th of Arnold Tonus on the Monster Energy Yamaha. He just made a mistake a moment ago, about a half a lap or so ago. And he fell victim to the 202, the green Kawasaki of Leclerc in for the injured Joel Roulant on the Fluide Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki. At the front of the field, Jeffrey Herlings continues to lead, sets the time 1:51.3 on lap 6. He's 11.3 seconds clear of Tommy Searle. Van Horbeek just a little bit quicker than both those guys now, 3 seconds behind Tommy Searle. Osborne, we saw him at 4th place, ahead of Tixier. Again, about 2.5 seconds clear now of the Frenchman. Then we've got Romain Febvre having a great ride in 6th position. Oh, nice dollop of dirt there, right on the lens of the onboard camera. Valentin Tellier off the rear wheel of the number 7 of Arnold Tonus here as they battle over 10th place. Tonus in there at the moment. That's the mistake in the corner in the bottom there. The lap ago, where Tonus made that mistake. Romain Febvre in his best race position finish at the moment. Got a 6th in the second moto at Lockett in the Czech Republic. Got him 5th overall, that did. And here he is, 6th in Moto here at the moment. But at least going to rival that anyway. Keeping his head down as he comes uphill. Tonus, blinded by the rays of the sunshine here as it starts to drop in the afternoon. 3:20 here local time. Visibility in the qualifying races yesterday was very similar. And the shadowing down the hills, can't quite see the bumps. There's Elliot Banks-Brown finding himself getting right back onto the rear of Valentin Tellier. Tellier in 11th place. Banks-Brown just here, number 44 on the HM Plant KTM, going through in 12th place. What was his lap time? It was a 56.2 for Tellier. Banks-Brown a 56.0. So again, only marginally quicker, but he's doing enough just to eke away. That's 1:41. Andrea Chervelin down in 14th place as he chases down the Rockstar Energy Suzuki here, number 33 of Julian Lieber. So Chervelin is wondering whether he got some more parts in that TM for the Italian Grand Prix or the European Grand Prix here in Italy. He's certainly not done himself any harm. 17th in Moto number 1. That's points on the board for him. Could be a double point scoring ride. And they'll be 14th in the second Moto. Still plenty of time to go though. 18.5 minutes plus 2. Who's he got behind him? Nikolai Larsen, standing construct Suzuki. Tim Geiser, they're 2 seconds and 5 seconds back respectively. Then Koldenhoff battling with Tim Geiser down in 16th place and 17th place. Boutron only in 18th. Lupino still only in 19th. Got there on the lap, on the second lap of the race, and so that was 5-6 laps ago now. So Lupino struggling to come to terms and come through on a circuit here that is littered with ruts. But look at that scrubbing technique there of Romain Febvre. Bodo Schmidt. Motorsport KTM, just here, the 461. European 250 champion last year. Doesn't mind it when it's a little bit hard and slick. Good style. Likes to rail a berm or two, but going after Elliot Banks-Brown. Sorry, Julian Lieber just ahead of him. Sorry, Tixier on the KTM there. Number 911. Tixier in 5th place, Romain Febvre in 6th. Here's Tonkov in 7th. teammate Max Anstey still not making progress through the field. Down in 28th at the moment. In one of those weekends for the young Brit. Just shows as well, from one week to the next, third overall a week ago in the deep sand of Lierop. Obviously had the technique and maybe a slightly better machine setup for the sand, but just not working right from the very first lap of free practice for Max Anstey. Here's Lariat and Nichols. Nichols has been caught here on the Nissan JM Racing KTM, that fourth place in the championship at the moment. Looking like it's just, well, it could still be his, a mistake there. Could still be his after this race, but it puts the pressure on him going into Teushenthal in Germany in 2 weeks' time, because Tixier finished ahead of him in 5th in Moto #1, and he's in 5th in the second race at the moment. And Tonus looking interested, trying to rectify the mistake. Then he made 2 laps ago when the guy on the Kawasaki, the 202, just ahead of him here, found a way through. Looking to go back past. It's a bit of a squeeze down there, pulls out of it right at the last minute. Does that open the door for Tellier? No, it doesn't. And Banks Brown still in there as well. Number 44 on the HM Plank KTM. Hard and slick surface on the finish line jump takeoff. Then dropping out of the final turn just here. Herlings themselves 13.8 seconds apart at the head of the field. Another 6 seconds further back, Van Hoorbeek. That's how the podium will finish. First, second and third if it stays like that as well. And Herlings, of course, will be crowned world champion in MX2. A great crowd here. I've already seen a great first race of, in MX1. And Nichols under the cosh here at the moment. Just here, 45. Got Lariat behind him, Tonus, Tellier, Elliott, Banks Brown. Really is going to have to work hard and dig deep now is Jake Nichols. Just lining up behind him. But one thing's for sure, Nichols won't give in easily. He'll try to stay out there as long as possible. He's 4 seconds down on Alex Tonkov, who's also lapping about a second and a half quicker than him on the previous lap. Tellier on the move, in the red. Around the outside of Tonus. And Tonus again, another mistake in the corner, just getting caught out there. So Tellier suddenly finds himself up in a 10th place now, on the rear end of the Kawasaki of Lurk Lariat. Tim Geiser, European 125 champion. He's out. He was just inside the points, but decided to park it for whatever reason. So not a great MX2 Grand Prix experience then for Tim Geiser, but I'm sure we will see him back at Teushenthal in 2 weeks' time for another go. Banks Brown now, number 44, all over the back of the number 7 and pushing the Swiss rider. Gets up out of the seat, cuts it to the inside. And almost wheel to wheel through there, and he's got the good drive through here. Thought about jumping long, but then was going to get squeezed through that little left. So Banks Brown then starting to push here. He's got a whole gaggle of riders ahead of him. Starting with the number 7 there, Tonus in 11th place. And Banks Brown losing his front number plate in the process. Just getting hit there. A rock off the rear wheel of Tonus's Yamaha. Shouldn't cause too many problems, apart from just maybe the odd distraction for him, but not in any danger of getting wrapped around anywhere that it shouldn't. So as long as he can keep his focus, Elliott Banks Brown will continue to push on for a top 10 place here in race 2. Jeffrey Herlings acknowledges Giacomo Del Segato, the 262 KTM rider, as he moves out of the way. Bit of smoke coming out of the back of one of the bikes just a moment ago from one of the other corners, but Tonus having to deal with this kid here, 44, Banks Brown. Banks Brown and Tonus scrubbing from one side of the track to the other. And here's Nichols, 45, Nistan JM Racing KTM. Got Tellier to deal with, number 37, Rockstar Bud Racing Kawasaki. They come over the line now. And it's Nichols at 8, Tellier 9, Larier 10, Tonus 11, Banks Brown 12. And Banks Brown and Tonus, bar to bar, going up the start straight into turn 1. And Tonus not having any of it, but then he gets squeezed there. Good move there from Elliot Banks Brown, who now moves up into 11th place. Just here, the number 44. So the HM Plank KTM UK rider now going after Larier on that green Kawasaki just ahead of him, 202. Larier had a great ride in Moto number 1. Finished in 8th place, but was up in 6th and then in 7th for much of the race. Oh, Zach Osborne. What's going on here? Zach Osborne has been passed by Fevre Tixier and is now in danger of being caught and passed by the 66. Tonkov is looking down. So I've got a problem then with the Monster Energy Yamaha as Zach Osborne. He's looking down on the left side. It's either a foot peg or a gearbox. Taking a long look over his shoulder, so Zach Osborne then looks like he might be calling it time as Tonkov off the bike and saves it in some spectacular fashion. Alexander Tonkov then in 6th place, now in the yellow helmet. He's got 37, Valentin Tellier behind him, who's just found a way past the troubled Yamaha of 338. Zach Osborne looks to go down the inside of the Russian, but almost comes to a complete stop. That's the Russian on the right-hand side, close to the pit lane wall. And then look at that, neatly up the inside, squares him off a treat, comes through the finish line, and goes through in 6th place to Valentin Tellier. So with that, 9:40 on the clock, plus 2 laps to go. Herlings 16 seconds clear of Tommy Searle in 2nd. Van Hoorbeek in 3rd, Tixier in 4th. Roman Fevre now in 5th. That is his best position of the season so far. Tonkov was in 6th until a moment ago, but was just overtaken there by the guy in red. Leading the riders up the hill here, number 37, Valentin Tellier. So Tellier now 6th, Tonkov there, 66 in the yellow helmet. He drops to 7th. Jake Nichols has caught those guys. He's now in 8th place. Found a way past Zach Osborne as well, who's 9th and losing ground. And Larier in 10th. There's Van Hoorbeek, currently in 3rd place. Dropping down through the sweeping right. Up the step down here and then off the 3rd drop off. It's more like a step down. Tommy Searle having lapped Max Anstey. That's him there in the background, number 6. Anstey still not in the points in this 2nd race. But Tommy Searle can't do anything about Jeffrey Herlings' speed today. Searle was the fastest man on track in qualification yesterday, and in the qualifying heat, I should say. Doing everything right, Tommy Searle, but just not quick enough for this guy here, who looks like he's going to wrap up the 2012 FIM MX2 World Championship with a double moto victory here at Faenza, the European round of the World Championship Series, with a round to go. Taking his time, choosing his lines carefully. Jeffrey Herlings, as Osborne does come in, 338. And looks like they're going to stay in the pits for Monster Energy Yamaha then. Boy, that guy's got to be hot, isn't he? Either that or it's some kind of hairdo he's got going on. Walking around in a lion suit, 30 degrees. You having a laugh? Anyway, 84. Jeffrey Herlings just here. Comes over the line now to complete lap 14. And does so with a time 1:56.9. We'll wait for Tommy Searle, but he's a ways behind. Here he is. Over the line now. 18.5 seconds back, 1:56.0, so almost a second slower than Herlings. So Tommy Searle then, and Max Anstey out. Riding around in the lower 20s. Problems with the bike again, it looks like. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, just seems to have had a little bit of that in the second half of the season. Anstey, coupled with a few crashes, only really seemed to come together in Lero last week. 2 third-place finishes, 3rd overall. Great result for them, for Honda Garibaldi Ester. Of course, for Anstey, taking his first ever podium. There's Roman Fevre, 4.61. Still in 5th place, going after Tixier. Nothing in it between those two, that's the gap. Could be looking at a 4th place finish here, Roman Fevre. He's got his act together in the second half of the season, has to be said. Not sure if he's on the move next year or not. You often hear of teams saying we want one good rider and one young rider, and he could fit the bill as both, to be honest. There's Lariat and Tonus. So this here is a battle for 8th place. Tonus there in 9th. Number 7 on the, again, gets hung up in the rut through there. Number 7 just there on that black Yamaha. Going after Alexander Tonkov, who's in 7th position. Tonkov has been 7th before, opening moto in Valkenswaard, opening moto in Sweden. Hasn't been any higher than that, though. And here he is in 7th place in the 2nd moto. But look, Lariat, first time we've seen him this year. Got Arnold Tonus breathing all down his neck now. The number 7. And looks like we've got good drive there, Tonus. Does he get it through? Well, yeah, it was going to be close. But he managed to put the squeeze on the 202, Loic Lariat, and drops up into 8th place now. What's he got in the next 4 minutes plus 2 laps? Because he'll want to try and go after Alexander Tonkov just ahead of him there. Look, the yellow helmet. That'll be for 7th position for the Swiss rider, Arnold Tonus. But Herlings, it's been another dominant display. There's the team start to get ready for the celebrations. Look, all kinds of outfits and capes going on. People still getting dressed up as well, as he prepares to take the checkered flag and a world championship. Not just a Sandman now, Jeffrey Herlings. Is that Dirk? Dirk Grubel. I seem to remember he had that outfit on last year. Got the wig going on. There we go. He's a technical guy. Obviously likes to dress up occasionally. I'll leave it at that, I think. Sorry, Dirk. Obviously didn't mean anything by that. But Tommy Searle. He's done all he could. Put himself in a good frame of mind after the qualifying race yesterday. knowing that he was the fastest rider out on track in the qualifying session. He's just not been able to match the pace of Jeffrey Herlings when it mattered on race day. Herlings just immaculate this weekend. 18 race wins so far this season. Or 17 race wins, I should say. And on his way to Moto victory number 18. About 3 laps to go in this second MX2 race. Tonkov has been passed by Tonus. So Tonkov now in 7th position. And with just over a minute to go, with 3 laps to go, Herlings, barring any mistakes, will win this second moto. Andrea there from Aero Helmets on the left with the white glasses. Dirk Grubel having his moustache stuck on. Freddie. Well, I don't know what the... don't really know. Maybe a We Are the Champions kind of thing, but Freddie Mercury, Jeffrey Herlings, don't really see the connection myself. Maybe he just loves Queen. Maybe the fact that he's king. Or will be king, who knows. But Jeffrey Herlings, 24 seconds clear of Tommy Searle. Van Horbik in 3rd. Tixier still 4th. That'll be the World Championship, 672, 601. More than 50 points, which was the idea for Herlings. Get more than 50 points clear. And he'd be world champion, and that's exactly what's happening right now. Tommy Searle then, 2.5 laps to go. Makes his way around Robert Just. Back marker. Eventually, at the top of the hill. As we look at Jose Boutron and Glenn Coldenhoff. Where are they? Down in 14th and 15th. So Coldenhoff has just been passed by Boutron, number 17. Boutron now moves into 14th place. So Coldenhoff just starting to feel the heat, probably quite literally. Mistake there though. There's Lupino just off the back of them, so he's pulled up a couple of positions as well. Jake Nichols, though, how's he weathered the storm? Down to 13th position now, Jake Nichols. Been passed by Banks Brown, Nikolai Larson, Julian Lieber, Loic Clariot. Tony Cairoli even about to get in on the celebrations as well. Nice new shirt for him as well. Look, in the world champion colours. The rainbow top. There's his second MX2 teammate. Van Horbik goes through in 3rd position. Tixier in 4th. Favourite in 5th. The Lions made his way round to the celebration area. There's Tommy Searle in 2nd position. Roman Federer will be pleased with this as well. In that 5th place on the Bodo Schmidt Motorsport KTM. Went for, well, Tellier's over the line in 6th. That'll be a good weekend, especially with the knowledge that his teammate broke his femur yesterday, Dylan Ferrandis. Tonus in 7th, Tonkov in 8th, 9th is Larrier, 10 is Lieber, Larson 11th, Banks Brown is 12th, Nichols 13th, Coldenhoff 14th, Boutron, Lupino, Chervelin, Growlers, Robert Just and Antonio Mancuso down there in 20th position. We're on board with Jeffrey Herlings, though. As he looks to get ready to take the final lap here. Said in the press conference yesterday after qualifying, wasn't going to risk his life on it, on winning the championship. Wasn't going to take any unnecessary risks. But he hasn't had to. He's taken 2 great starts, and he'll look up now and see the team getting ready to celebrate. Won't do anything about it, though. Sees them all there. He would have seen it from the past as well, when Roxon won the world title, when Muscan won the world title, watching it as a kid when Cairoli was world champion. All the celebration antics, the whole of KTM Austria here this weekend. Now he starts to celebrate. He's got enough of an advantage in which to enjoy the moment, enjoy this final lap. And he really is starting to enjoy it. Done the hard work early on. Jeffrey Herlings, as the Orange Army move in. Blowing kisses to the Italian fans here. He's 26 seconds clear of Tommy Searle when he came over the line, so he knows he's got enough in an advantage. And just going to ride out the last 10 or 15 turns of this Faenza circuit. Our Italian announcer down there on the ground as well, getting ready. He's going to be right in amongst the thick of it. Who knows, he might even try to grab a word with our new world champion. But everybody on their feet, everybody clapping here. Jeffrey Herlings, they've seen 2 world champions crowned. Tony Cairoli in MX1. He takes a bow as he goes down past pit lane. And it's a slow ride past the box. He lights the candles. Herlings is world champion 2012. And he'll ride around to the team and the fans, the supporters, the sponsors, right into the arms of the gang as they try to get there. There you see Freddie Mercury, we are the champions. The music, and there is Dirk Grubel dressed as Freddie Mercury. Dirk Grubel, the technical guy at Red Bull KTM, in charge of all the engines. And again, just like we saw earlier, pandemonium. 17 years old, Jeffrey Herlings, world champion in his 3rd year in MX2 competition. And he does it in fine style as well. 18 race wins, 9 overall Grand Prix victories in the season. And the kid came good. He's delivered what KTM wanted at the start of the season. It was always going to be a tough challenge against Tommy Searle on the Fluid Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki, but in the end, that's what it looks like from his onboard images flickering away there. The MX1 guys rush back because they've got work to do. You saw Jill Cox there, Tony Cairoli's girlfriend, and Nazzarino, the guy walking past the MX Life banner, now in the middle of it. Cairoli's mechanic. Cairoli was in there briefly as well, we saw, but Jeffrey Herlings is the 2012 FIM MX2 Motocross World Champion. 18 race wins, 9 overall Grand Prix victories, and double Moto wins. On home soil in Valkensoir, the opening round, round 3, Fermo, Italy. Round 4, Mexico, Guadalajara. Semiguri, round 11. Lockett, round 12. Lira, just a week ago. And now here in Faenza, they're just the double Moto victories. And true to his word, Jeffrey Herlings is the 2012 world champion. Getting a bit crazy down there once again. Here we go. Gonna grab a quick word.
Since I was a small crowd in the last 4 years, and I went with Ruben and you already speaking about it and the whole new championship. I want to give you something to yourself. It's just amazing. I'm so super. What can I say?
Just said it's amazing. And can't believe it. But he'll make his way to the podium because he's the overall Grand Prix winner. But there we go. 84. Sticker on the bottom will say MX2 World Champion 2012. But he'll be getting a gold plate. It might have been Gerald Weaver, actually, that just congratulated him. There's Tixier, pleased for his teammate. But Gerald Weaver, who used to be in the corner for Roxon, has a job at KTM in Austria, which is where he's from, but obviously still very much a part of the KTM family in the back room now. It's a great ride for Romain Febvre. Tellier getting in 6th place as well, Tonus in 7th, Tonkov eventually 8th, Lario eventually 9th. Lieber, top 10 ride for him.
Allora sì, Giulio Gannes, Tommy Searle, palla, il volta il proiettile, Jeffrey Herlings.
So Herlings wins race 2 and a world championship from Tommy Searle, Van Hoorbeek 3rd, Tixier 4th, Romain Febvre, best result of the season for him, down in 5th place. And that'll get him a good result overall on the podium as well. But then we got Lario 9th, Lieber 10, Larson, Banks Brown, Nichols, he'll be disappointed with that in the second moto. So Jeffrey Herlings then makes his way to the podium eventually, after what was quite an incredible scene as he came over the line. But cornering just like he was on rails, just like he was in sand. The dirt, the hard pack here, not even a problem for him this weekend. 2 race wins. Searle 2nd, Van Hoorbeek, Tixier, Tonus, Febvre, Tellier and Lario. Nichols 9th overall, just 22 points for him. And Lieber 10th overall for him. Anstey, points in the first moto, nothing in the second. And Lupino, points in both motos, but not the European Grand Prix that he was hoping for on home soil.
Con un altro podio conquistato. Complimenti a Dirk per la sua interpretazione. Purtroppo non siamo riusciti a sentirli in voce, siamo stati sopraffatti dal pubblico e dai suoi fan.
In terms of the championship, well, we know Herlings, Searle, but Nichols, look at that, just 8 points now between him and Tixier in that battle for 4th place. Anstey still safe there in 7th place, but that's little consolation for him. Ferrandis, that 9th place will come under attack from Koldenhoff, possibly over the next 2 races, the final round at Teushenthal in 2 weekends' time. Fireworks are going off here in the background outside, just by the podium area. Somewhat of a double celebration here this weekend. Especially for the Red Bull KTM guys. Might be a mini party tonight and then something a little bit special in Germany. But everybody who's anybody from KTM here this weekend to witness another historical occasion in the life of the Austrian manufacturer. Getting ready to go down to the podium. And 3rd overall will be Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, but manufacturer's chase looks like this. KTM, Kawasaki, Yamaha, Honda, Suzuki, Husqvarna and TM. So again in the driving seat in KTM, but not quite there yet.
Claudio De Carli che ancora festeggia giustamente. Andiamo, Matteo, allora a che punto siamo? 1 minuto, per cui tutti preallertati per dare il via alla premiazione. Van Hoorbeek.
So the podium ceremony just about to get underway. So sea of orange down there at the moment, as you would expect. 2 of their riders on the podium this weekend. Jeremy Van Hoorbeek in 3rd.
Jeremy, ma ci siamo. E
And he's down there somewhere. Okay, third overall this weekend. The European Grand Prix, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, Red Bull KTM. Gets helped up to the podium there, it looks like. So maybe just feeling a little bit under the weather, walking with a bit of a limp as well. Might be as a result of that first moto crash. Tommy Searle, the Floride Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki rider, takes second overall this weekend. 2 second-place finishes, but that's a tough pill to swallow. Man needs no introduction here. Red Bull KTM, the 17 years old. Jeffrey Herlings. In fact, I think he's 18 tomorrow. So the Red Bull KTM rider on the podium there with Stefan Everts, himself a 10-time world champion, so just 9 more to go for Jeffrey Herlings as he sports the #1 on the front of the Alpine Star shirt. Van Hoorbeek gets his 3rd place trophy from Antonio Locatelli from Aero Helmets. That's the boss man, no less. Tommy Searle will get his 2nd place trophy from Franco Ercoletti, president of the motorcycle club here. And your overall winner, Jeffrey Herlings, gets the winner's trophy from Fabio Lasseri, vice president of the Italian Federation, the FMI. He wins the European Grand Prix. Stefan Everts get the manufacturer's trophy for KTM, yet another one. Angelo Crippa, KTM Italy. Big presence here this weekend, going to be a big party of that, you know. There's going to be no doubt about that, but was a red plate, but Dr. Wolfgang Schreb now delivers a gold plate to Jeffrey Herlings. He's the 2012 FIM MX2 Motocross World Champion. And he joins Dave Strybos, who was the first world champion of the Netherlands, riding for Cagiva back in 1986. John van der Berg, 1987, and Pedro Tractor, 1993. It's been 19 years since the Dutchman has stood on the top step of the World Championship podium in MX1, in MX2 or MX 125. Now that it starts to sink in, he's just realised that he is world champion. When Jeffrey Herlings came over the line to celebrate winning the European Grand Prix here at Faenza and rode into the arms of his teammates, there were no tears, but as soon as the national anthem of the Netherlands finished, he started to well up. The realisation finally hit home that he is the 2012 FIM MX2 World Champion. And he does it in fine style with a double moto victory here in Faenza. And the kid showing he is human after all. On the podium with his teammate Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, 3rd overall this weekend. Tommy Searle 2nd. And what a weekend it's been for KTM. 2 more world titles decided here.
perché stanno per prendere il via i piloti dell'ultima gara in programma.
And the legend continues from Austria. Here's how it went down in race 2. Gate dropped. 2 KTMs over on the left-hand side, did the best they could. They came out first and second, but it was Herlings who snuck into the lead. Van Hoorbeek was there in second position initially, but then Tommy Searle squared him up nicely, dropped into that second place. Van Hoorbeek knew he was there and didn't retaliate. We saw afterwards he was limping his way onto the podium, so maybe carrying an injury of some sort. Jake Nichols, though, came under pressure in the closing stages. At one stage, he was up into 8th place, but eventually Jake Nichols dropped down to 13th by the time the checkered flag fell. Tommy Searle, though, couldn't do any more than he was doing. Second in Moto number 1, second in Moto number 2. Had to place second best in the World Championship. And on the day here in Faenza to this guy, number 84, Jeffrey Herlings, a Red Bull KTM rider, as he crossed the line to become 2012 FIM MX2 Motocross World Champions. And hopefully he's down by the winner's podium area, getting ready to speak to
Jeffrey Herlings.
Amy.
What a year you've had, but what a way to end it. A double motor win, and you've just taken the MX2 World Championship title.
I've been going through everything this year, you know. Had so many tough times, but I fight my way through everything, you know. The donor story, the Pocock story. A lot of big crashes going on this year, which people never knew about, and having to race in a lot of pain, but I made it happen. I never could do it with my mom. She helped me with doing everything, and I'm so happy with KTM. We worked so hard to get a title and to get it with a double bin with such beautiful fans. It's just amazing.
Congratulations, hopefully the first of many.
Thank you.
So Jeffrey Herlings then, the overall winner here, the Grand Prix of Europe, and the new world champion, of course. Doing it with a double moto victory. The bullet, Jeffrey Herlings. Silenced all his critics. He's been able to ride more than sand in 2012. And his aim for next year is certainly going to be to retain it. And he's already said that maybe to go undefeated would be the next target, something like that. But get this season out of the way first. But look at that. Absolutely nothing left to give, but his mum has been there by his side for the whole, throughout the whole journey. Bernie, his mechanic, just there, look. They've been through a lot together. Let's not forget the car crash in Russia, where he picked up a couple of rib injuries, and there's his mum just on the right-hand side in the black, just about to take a seat. But he had stitches in his forehead where he raced the week after the Russian Grand Prix in Lockett, or 2 weeks later. Rib injuries and all kinds of stuff. His good friend was seriously hurt in that car wreck as well, but he bounced back straight away to win in Lockett both races. Going up onto the top step. Telling the guys with the chainsaws to go full gas, but it's party time here in Italy, because after they get off the podium, they'll be heading back, and there'll be more than Red Bull flowing, that's for sure. But Tony Cairoli, already crowned world champion earlier on in MX1. He's got to go out and do another moto in a moment, but I'm sure he'll be focused. But for now, though, this is Herlings' moment. Stefan Evert's on the podium with him, all of the team, the mechanics, the crew, everybody, even Queen there, Freddie Mercury, Dirk Grubel, the technical guy. Well, that's it for MX2. Join us in a moment for MX1.